Hi, my name is Goose Otto Feick, and here is my herbal project presentation. Um, so for my herbal project, I decided to make kind of a pain relief salve. And a couple reasons why is because I have arthritis, and I suffer from a lot of joint pain and inflammation from that, and very familiar with over-the-counter pain meds, and arthritis rubs and patches. And I thought it would be fun with this project to be able to make something that for myself that I can use to help relieve pain over, you know, um, the pain meds or patches that I've used in the past. And then I've said, um, arthritis can be a pain, so say farewell with Mother Goose, a topical joint rub to soothe arthritis pain. And so Mother Goose is what I've named it. So it relieves joint and it can help with muscle pain. And so, you're supposed to apply a thin layer, and really a thin layer is all you need. So you take it, just a tiny little amount, but it changes depending on the size of the joint. So for my wrist, this might be a bit too much, even for my wrist. I just put it on, and then, I rub it in kind of a decent amount, and then I might go over onto my knuckles since I have a bit more. You want pretty thin layer. It should still sit on top of the skin, but not too much. Um, and so, you rub it in, let it do its magic. So I chose 3 herbs to put in this. I chose to use arnica, specifically Mexican arnica, not not mountain arnica or arnica montana, or arnica montana, which is what is more commonly used or thought of as something for the pain relief, used in pain relief stuff. Mostly I chose it because Mexican arnica, or Heterotheca inuliotus, is cheaper and it's easier to find. It isn't as, overly harvested or overly used as regular or mountain arnica montana. A drawback with it is it isn't as potent as arnica montana, so I did have to use more. So I used the flower, and so the flower is anti-phlogistic for the pain, anti-rheumatic. It's also anti-ecchymotic and a nervine. So I chose it because of its pain relief properties and anti-inflammatory properties. So it has flavonoids, sesquiterpenoids, and coumarins, which they're anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and analgesic. It's very traditionally used as a topical treatment for bruises or sprains, for muscle aches. It is very commonly used. However, only topical, because to be ingested it can be very toxic, so you need to be careful about that, as well as overuse on the body could be bad. The next herb I chose is sweet birch, or sometimes called cherry birch. Its scientific name is Betula lenta. So I really like the name, it kind of just rolls off the tongue. So I used the bark of the tree. And so about the tree bark, it's by harvesting can be kind of hard, because by harvesting bark from a live tree, it can really harm the tree and it can't really properly grow back the bark. So it should be harvested from a dead birch tree. It's used, it's an analgesic and antihelmintic, anti-inflammatory. It's an astringent, a diuretic, and stimulant. So its constituents in it are flavonoids, glycosides, tannins, and terpenes, which are all, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antimicrobial, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, of course. Um, it has a lot of traditional uses, used for, internally and externally. It can be used for stomach aches, fevers, bladder infections, rheumatoid conditions, and it can even, just be enjoyed in a tea. Like the whole tree can be used and also in furniture or building boats, um, and really overall lots of uses for the tree. Um, the last herb I decided to use was Cape aloe, or aloe ferox. It is very similar to aloe vera, which most people are familiar with, the aloe vera gel. I used the leaf, the powdered leaf, so dried, instead of a fresh leaf and the gel from that leaf, which of course probably had some effect on potency and some of its actions, but not too much of it. And so, Cape aloe is a purgative, anti-arthritic, as well as refrigerant. It has tannins and anthraquinones, which, are anti-inflammatory, and antiviral. And so, it's used to treat arthritis, for burns, other skin wounds, or irritations. It also is used for hair and skin care, and so, as a history, for where natively was grown, used in rituals for like cleansings or protection, which I find is pretty cool. So sourcing specifically for this, Cape aloe came from South Africa. I got it online from Mountain Rose Herbs, and they wild harvested it. The arnica, the Mexican arnica, originates from central Mexico, and I got it online by Jovely, a herb company, and it was organically cultivated. The birch bark I got is from North America and grows, well in northern climates. I got it online from Mountain Rose Herbs. It was wild harvested by them. So now that I have all of my ingredients, so I had used grapeseed oil because I I decided I like that, kind of the best is neutral oil, and castor oil I used for its anti-inflammatory effect, as well as since it's good for the skin. I had used beeswax, the herbs. I decided to add eucalyptus essential oil, mostly just for its scent, because I find eucalyptus be really calming. I overall just really enjoy that scent. I was gonna add menthol crystals for a more scent and its cooling effect. However, that got lost in the mail, so that didn't end up being in there. And then I used vitamin E oil for so it can last longer. The overall recipe, I kind of switched the base, like how many parts of things I should use, on a recipe from the textbook, the Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook, and some other herbal recipes I found online. But I kind of chose my parts and how much of what thing I wanted on my own, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I used a double boil method, with, what you see there is a like crab, like lobster steamer that my family had and turned out to be the best thing for the bowl that I had put it in. I originally used a crock pot, but I will criticize why I changed that later. And so it produced about just over 2 cups of oil ish, and I did everything kind of in the same night, so I didn't can or put jar or any of the oil. So I immediately in a steam bath or water bath, you put in the beeswax. Um, I don't know exactly how much beeswax I used. I'd say around 25 or so. And then I put it in the tins. The entire thing made, I believe, five 4-ounce tins, um, or 4.5 4-ounce tins. Um, so here were the results with its label. Actually, I put together the photos of the label itself on like Google Paint, which I'm kind of pretty proud of. Um, and so it's for external use and shouldn't be used on wounded or damaged skin. That is mostly a warning put there for the arnica, because arnica, like the arnica is not recommended to be put on open wounds, and it should also be kept out of reach for children, and because of the arnica and its possible toxicity. And it's 4-ounce for fluid ounce tin, and contact is my school email. So my thoughts on the process, my overall thoughts, I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it. It was really fun to do. It was kind of nerve-wracking too, because reading is not the same as doing, so I had a lot of doubts as I went along in the process. But through the process, I was able to adjust. I think I added some more oil. I ended up using more beeswax than I originally started, measuring out with. And, other than those minor adjustments, I don't think I'd make any changes other than with the method to make the oil, which I started off with a crock pot. And luckily, I had one of the laser thermometers and noticed that the temperature was getting too hot, around like 170, 190, even when putting on keep warm. So that was kind of a big panic for me as I moved it onto the double boil. And so I would definitely next time start out just with the double boil. Avoid the crock pot because that made me really nervous with how it turned out. I don't know if it would turn out differently if I started off with the double boil. So I would, if I had the chance or ran out, I would definitely make it again. I gave the extras to my family because they also have joint pain, and they've said that they liked it. Um, yeah, so it was really fun to make it. Thank you. Bye.